Swaram, whose executive director is with us today, reported what I think is one of the worst human rights violations that was exposed last year. The torture of 13 people who were detained under SOSMA, and the things that they claimed that they were made to do while in detention. Details of that in Swaram's report. Okay, what do we do to counter this? While we highlight the human rights concerns that we have in Malaysia, we also try and work within civil society and with civil society partners to try and counter some of these and address some of these human rights violations that we find in Malaysia. One of them is also a campaign that we have called Act for CAT. This is basically acting for the Convention Against Torture. It's a campaign that has one purpose: to get the Malaysian government to ratify the UN Convention Against Torture. And we're working on this with Suhakam, Swaram, Lawyers for Liberty, the Malaysian Bar Council. Yeah, and it has that one purpose. We started this in 2014, we're still working on it. Impunity for deaths in police custody, especially, and unlawful use of force and firearms persisted. This was also captured in the report. I mentioned UNCAT. Malaysia remains one of 32 UN member states which has not ratified the Convention Against Torture. In the last 10 years, and these are Swaram figures, there have been over 250 deaths in police custody. In only a handful of cases have the police been held accountable, while the rest of these cases, we don't know what happened to these people who have died in police custody. And there needs to be more accountability. Last year, we know about the Andaman Sea crisis. 1,100 people were stranded off Malaysia's coastline. And they were finally, after a few weeks, allowed to disembark in Malaysia. Of this, 400 Rohingyas faced prolonged detention for over a year in harsh conditions. Immigration detention centers in Malaysia were overcrowded and conditions remained harsh. These were some of the highlights in the report as well.
Well, I think it's important that we see concrete change by the Malaysian government. When you become a candidate for the Human Rights Council, you make commitments. You make commitments to ratify treaties. You make commitments to undertake changes in law and policy. I mean, the issue now is that Malaysia is not a signatory neither to the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights nor the Convention on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. At minimum, we are calling on the Malaysian government to ratify the Convention Against Torture. I mean, what's so difficult about that? The Malaysian government has come out strongly to say we oppose torture, but yet, there has been a real lack of progress in ratifying that, among other conventions. So I think one we want to see a clear commitment towards UN international standards. Most countries around this region have ratified the Convention Against Torture. Why not Malaysia? The second, of course, is we need to see clear, strong commitments towards reviewing legislation in Malaysia. There are, particularly laws related to freedom of expression. I think we have continuously highlighted problems with sedition law, the Multimedia Communication Act, and so forth. But also to ensure that any new laws brought forward are in line with international standards. I think that's very important. So I think that's the second. And thirdly, I think as what Sham has mentioned, if we've seen the Prime Minister speak out about the situation in Myanmar with the human rights violations against the Rohingyas and so forth. But I think what we want to see is change at home. What we want to see is change in the country, where a clear position about the protection of refugees and asylum seekers, working together with the UNHCR, giving them not just recognition under law, but also rights to economic, social rights, the right to work, to healthcare, and so forth. So I think unless these things happen, there are real concerns about how committed Malaysia is to human rights and how much they'll actually play a role globally when there are real concerns about these rights here in Malaysia.